his first 2 games with the Lakers. Listen, you know what they say? People go to play with LeBron, numbers go to die. And he just sucks the air out of the offense. Kevin Love's like, I could have warned you. Brew, what version of Luka do you expect to see tomorrow?
You know, it's interesting because as I was prepping before the show, I was assuming LeBron was going to play. And then I'm not blaming it on LeBron as far as this comment about Luka, but I was going to be like, I don't expect to see the Luka we all have come to know and love. Because I don't think he's fully in the shape he needs to be. But 2, I still think they're figuring out how to use him. I don't think you're going to get the Luka MVP candidate until they put the ball in his hands almost, all the time. And if LeBron doesn't play, like you mentioned, then I think the ball will probably be more in Luka's hands and you might start seeing those MVP numbers. I think they should do it anyway. I think LeBron can obviously play well off the ball, and he's going to give you 7, 8 assists no matter what, and he can give you 25-plus points. So that's the key. If they put the ball in Luka's hands tonight or tomorrow night, which I don't expect fully, then I think we won't see that Luka until they start to put the ball in his hands.
Yeah, he has to be the Luka that we've all come to know and love that was in Dallas. I don't care if it's ball dominant. When you have a player he is not a role player. Right. He is a guy that when he's in the offense, he becomes your offense. You allow everybody else to then adapt. He is not a player that, in my opinion, you got to adapt. I would ask LeBron to adapt before I ask Luka Doncic to adapt. Right. And so if LeBron doesn't play, this is a prime opportunity. Yep. Luka, go be you. Whatever it looks like, we will adjust to you. We don't care. Just go and give us what you have always given the fans.
So I think LeBron will play. And, he obviously has been ruled out. But just given his comments before the game, All-Star game, made it seem like it was precautionary and that he thought he might be playing in the All-Star game, and then it tightened up. So I would think he's going to play. But I also think we're going to see the first great Luka game with the Lakers. I think that because the first game's weird. They're up by 100, or immediately. They don't even play in the fourth quarter. And then the second game, they just get crushed on the glass. They're down. Kind of a weird game in both regards. Now Luka's been there a couple games. There is also the added scrutiny on LeBron for the All-Star game stuff, and he tends to want to kind of send messages sometimes, and I think he's going to send the opposite message you normally would be, which is go out and try to score 30. It's like, no, Luka needs to have his first great Laker game. The Hornets are a great team to have that opportunity against, and I do think LeBron knows he's the one who needs to adjust in this relationship.
And they need to do it. Because they got Austin Reeves bringing the ball up, LeBron bringing it up. Sometimes Luka, do it.
Yeah. I think we're overthinking this a little bit. I don't think we have to just look at Luka game to game to game, moment to moment to moment. Even this question, what version of Luka do you expect? He's playing himself back into shape. He's been out for a while. He's shaking off some rust. He's getting situated. I mean, there's so many different things that you just have to get reacclimated to, just the players around you, the little conversations. Something like that is so little because normally, you have your friends, you have your rapport, you have the people that you're talking to in the locker room just sitting down, when you're talking. So many of these little moments that all add up for you feeling different degrees of being comfortable going into a game, and Luka's now readjusting that. He's got to readjust to making small talk with LeBron now prior to playing and all of it. It's just all many little things. And again, this doesn't necessarily amount to a huge thing because you can just grab Luka randomly and say, hey, you're gonna play with the New York Knicks right now, go have at it, and he'll find a way to ball and be good. But it's just he's getting reintegrated, and I think it's especially difficult when he hadn't been playing leading to this change. If he had already been playing, he was already in rhythm, then this trade kind of happened, then he jumped in and played these those first 2 games with LA, it would be a little bit different, but he was essentially coming cold off the bench, right? He legitimately wasn't playing. And it is going to still take some times, some time to get situated with the rest of the players, understand what they want, understand what Luka wants, working off of JJ Redick as well. Especially obviously LeBron, that's a giving. And I do think LeBron will evolve and grow and adapt and figure out how to get Luka comfortable. I think it'll be very similar to kind of what we saw with Dwayne Wade and LeBron, where Dwayne Wade was like, LeBron, like this is your team, bro. Like, you take charge. And I think LeBron is definitely going to kind of have that relationship evolve with Luka. It's what he wanted with AD. It just didn't quite get there. And so there's going to be some second guessing. There's going to be some issues. It's going to be textbook 2 steps forward, 1 step back. You know what I mean? And that's why trying to hyper focus on what version of Luka do we expect, it's kind of irrelevant. Whether it's a bad game, doesn't matter. Whether it's an amazing game, doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like it just doesn't really matter, because this is all just par for the course. We're gonna have an amazing game where it's Luka and LeBron, and we're gonna be like, how could anyone beat this team? And then we're gonna have another game where things are not good at all, and you're like, oh my God, will Luka and LeBron ever work together? Which will also be absurd, And it just is what it is. So I don't think we have to overthink it. I think little by little, Luka will become more and more comfortable, and then in a blink of an eye, he'll already feel like he is, deeply part of this team. I think right now it kind of almost feels like cosplay, like he's dressing up for Halloween, and it does feel a little weird, and you feel like a visitor for in someone else's team, especially when you see everyone else kind of getting together. And I think that could potentially be a little bit more drawn out than normal, because he's not American. So there's just going to be a little bit different degree of him getting comfortable, in terms of him becoming boys with Austin Reeves and Rui and just, again, some of these other little things that I think it's very easy to overlook. But in terms of, actual on the court, let's ball, let's get after it. At the end of the day, ball is ball, and they'll find a way. But we've seen this so many times where it typically can take a handful of games to really get comfortable. Again, just look at the Olympic team. It takes these guys who are literally all-time greats playing at their best. It takes them a handful of games to get integrated, to get situated. And these guys have been playing around with each other for a long time. But at the end of the day, talent is talent, And I think KD had some sort of statement like that, where they were talking about they were talking about this other one of the other international teams, where they're like, hey, we play together all the time, all year round. And KD is like, great, doesn't matter, we're better than you. And eventually the talent kind of rises to meet the occasion. But once you have that chemistry, then you have talent and chemistry, then it just becomes a wrap. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Luka? What version are you expecting to see Luka tonight? And does it matter? Do we need to be so heightened game to game to game? How is Luka going to look? And when should we start to have true grounded expectations of this team? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.